What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of LSU Recruiting HQ. I know it's been a while since we've been online, but we're back now and we're ready to go. Getting into football season, getting into this late summer, recruiting's heating up. Today we got a lot to talk about. We're going to do a spring game recap. I got a feeling we got ourselves a QB battle going into the fall, man. The two guys, not going to mention, got to watch the rest of the video if you didn't watch the game. Two guys yesterday really stood out and asserted themselves, and I'm telling you, these two guys have a real shot at both potentially starting games next fall, and it's gonna be a wild competition. I'm ready to see it. Another thing from the spring game, the defense, man, the defense was back, and I could just see it. Guys were flying around, making plays, having fun, and you just didn't see that at all last year. So we're gonna recap the spring game, and we're also gonna talk about LSU baseball, man. What is going on, Paul? Paul, what is going on, man? We gotta get this stuff together. Dropped 2 out of 3 this weekend to South Carolina after winning the first game, having a 4-0 lead going into the final inning of game two, and you end up blowing it. And then you get waxed in game three and just throw that game off the table. So we're gonna go in depth about that. What LSU baseball needs to do to maybe find themselves a postseason, because right now they got a tough road coming up. So we're gonna be looking at their schedule and seeing what they got going on and seeing if they even have a realistic shot of making the postseason if they get hot. So we're going to talk about that, talk about recruiting, like I said, starting to heating up with the NCAA lifting its restrictions now. And we're going to dive into that as well. So let's stay tuned. All right, we're going to start with the spring game. Not going to spend crazy amount of time on it because, it's a spring game. At the end of the day, it's just a scrimmage that we get to see. The white team beat the purple team 23-14. The beginning of the game was kind of slow. We had 3 straight field goals and not much on offense, But like I said, that defense was flying around making plays. You can definitely see the secondary looked a lot better. When I first turned the game on, the first play I watched was a busted coverage, and Butte was streaking on the sideline for a touchdown. So I was like, oh Lord, this isn't gonna be good. But they got it cleaned up, and man, it was good to see that defense flying around like they used to be. So the two quarterbacks that impressed me the most, obviously Miles Brennan, obviously Max Johnson, both had great days. Uh, Johnson was 11 for 17 for 180, 2 touchdowns. Brennan was 12 for 20, 116, 1 touchdown. TJ Finley struggled, had 2 picks. Garrett Nussmeier struggled a little bit as well, throwing 3 picks. So not a good day for those two guys. But I mean, Nussmeier, he's a young kid. He's just getting on campus. And I watched a couple of his throws. He has great arm talent. So you see the potential there. TJ Finley, kind of the same thing we saw all season last year. A lot of short throws, a lot of, you just don't see a lot of confidence when I'm throwing the ball down the field, trying to fit the ball in a certain window. So uh, from the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line, the first team offensive line played pretty well. They definitely still have a lot of improvement to do. That's going to be a big piece for LSU this fall. So hoping they can get that together. Butte and Jonte Kirkland were dudes yesterday. We all knew about Butte, and we're all wondering, this summer, the big question for LSU's offense, like, hey, who's gonna rise up and be that second guy? And it looks like it's gonna be Jonte, because man, he was outrageous yesterday. He played on both sides, so he played on the purple and white team. Got a lot of reps yesterday, and made the most of them. And I can't say enough. This guy came into LSU as a defensive back. Flip flopped around. We didn't have a lot of depth at certain positions, so he flip flopped from offense to defense. Finally, now he gets to focus on offense, and he is showing you how athletic he really is. He's been the scout team quarterback at times when they face dual threat guys. So he has been the ultimate team player, and I'm just so happy to see that he is finally showing out and getting some time on the field. And it looks like he's going to make the most of it because, man, he had a great day yesterday. He was easily the best receiver uh, catching passes yesterday, even over Butte. So uh, another concern, was the linebacking play was a lot better. A lot of young guys, Damone Clark had a great day, which is great to see because he struggled a lot last year, and he'd be the first guy to say that. And but these young guys that were playing next to him, obviously we didn't get to see Mike Jones, we didn't get to see Bug, and with those guys not being able to play, so you're not really seeing. But the linebackers I thought struggled a little bit, but there are a lot of the younger guys that aren't gonna see much playing time anyway. Um, Getting after it with Miles and Max, the showdown going into the fall between those two, man, it is tough. My heart lies with Miles Brennan, man. I think after what he did last year in the little sample size, I think he deserves to be a starting quarterback. But you gotta love the fact if you're a LSU fan right now, you have to love the fact that you're torn at this decision. Like we're like Team Max, Team Miles type thing, and that is a great problem to have right now. Great problem to have because you have two guys that can legitimately start games in the SEC and win those games. So, and you see the talent from both of them. It's just the fact if you want to go with a little bit more experience or a little bit more of the raw talent side, because Max is a lot more talented than Miles. But Miles has been there, done that. He's going to make the right throws at the right times, and that's why I give him the edge as of right now. And he's still got a cannon for an arm. So, I mean, he made some throws yesterday. It was like, man, I missed this, you know, because once Max and TJ, they simplified the offense, and it wasn't like crazy fun to watch their offense. I mean, they just ran a lot of short patterns, and then at the end of the season, Butte got hot, so they started throwing the ball downfield a little bit more, but still they were pretty conservative with those two guys. So it wasn't very exciting. Yesterday made me feel like, hey, this 2019 system's coming back. We all know realistically it's not going to be like 2019. There's just not enough guys on the team. If you can believe that at LSU, there's not enough guys to replicate what that 2019 team was. I don't know if there'll be ever enough guys at LSU to do that again. But you seen the potential yesterday, and you seen the the system and how it's going to work. Obviously not having our running backs out there. I honestly think this offense is going to be revolve around these running backs. We hear it every offseason. Last year, Coach O beat the dead horse with our running backs are our strength. Well, all season we never seen our running backs be our strength, but one game, the Arkansas game, was the only game where I specifically remember our running backs just dominating out there. Every other game we were throwing the ball 40 times a game and we were throwing for 350. So I mean, it's one of those things. So I'm gonna be happy when all our running backs get back healthy. It's kind of crazy that we had a spring game with one scholarship running back. So that was a little weird. But if you guys missed it yesterday, go back and rewatch the spring game. You'll go back and get to see all these freshman stars that are making their way on campus that you might not know, but you're gonna know eventually because they're dudes. Derek Davis played a lot yesterday. Mason Smith, Jaqueline Roy had a big day again. Ojolari had a great day. The whole defensive unit in general, I give a A-, because man, they were outstanding, and it was great to see. And I'm just happy that we have a defensive coordinator now that is preaching, having fun. Stingley had a pick. The defense was having their way with them receivers, and Dwight McLaughlin. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name. I don't know why. But man, he had a heck of a day yesterday. Tall, lanky corner in the game, getting majority of the snaps. Elias Ricks on the bench, injured, made the most of it. He locked down Butte for most of the first half when Max was throwing him the football. I mean, they couldn't throw anything to his side at one point. And they were out here challenging Stingley because they were just looking at number two, and like number two was just shutting it down on that side of the field. So that was very encouraging. That could lead to something bigger this fall because you put Dwight on the outside with Stingley, and those two guys on the outside, move Elias to the nickel. Man, I don't know where you're completing the pass. You better start hitting some tight ends because you ain't getting nothing Hey, you ain't getting nothing on that defensive backfield. If they play like they could play and then you add Elias Ricks in there, like that's something that we need to talk about for real. But coaching staff look great. Linebackers, like I said, iffy. Defensive line look good. Offensive line look decent. Wide receivers look good. DBs look good. Quarterbacks look good for the most part. All right, so the only thing we didn't get to really see was, the running backs, but that's not a big deal in spring anyway. They're not, running backs are running backs. It's one of those things. Cade York nailed 3 field goals to open up the game, so you love to see that. That's our guy. So getting away from that topic now, let's go ahead and dive into this baseball topic. Man, I'm a baseball guy. Like that's my sport. I played it growing up, coached it for a little while, and so I know a little bit about the sport, and that's why it's so frustrating. You see these moves that Paul Maneri's making, and you just leave watching the game just scratching your head like what could have been. Like what could have been if you would have done this. You can say the what ifs with every single position or with every single position that a coach takes during a game. Did it plenty of times. Coach O, Les Miles, stuff like that. But right now, you really got to wonder what's going on with Paul, man. Is he turning into the Les Miles of football? Like, of baseball? Like, what is going on? Like, we're the king of being mediocre right now, and it is just not okay because this is not the LSU standard of baseball, and it's not going to fly. So, I mean, if they keep losing at the pace they're at now, they're going to be in, you know, they're going to have some serious questions to address this offseason. And I love Paul Maneri, and I'll be the first one to back him up. But, man, you go 3 straight years and you can't accomplish anything in conference. And you're just letting these teams fly past you in conference. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, all these teams are above and way better than you right now. And that is not okay for LSU. So, speaking on the game, Thursday night goes so perfect. You have Landon Marceau going out there dealing 12 Ks. Man was just unhittable. Only gave up 4 hits, and I think he pitched 7 innings. So, and then you bring in Fontenot for the last 2. He comes in, has a little rocky 9th inning, shuts it down. Game over. You win game 1 against a top 5 team. All right, so going into Friday night, I'm here saying I'm like, man, we got this. Like we're winning the first 2 games. Who cares what happens on Saturday? We're winning the first 2 games of this thing, and they ain't stopping us because the momentum, man. They were hitting the ball, they were executing, they were making the great plays. Jordan Thompson is my MVP of this turnaround that we've seen from LSU baseball. This man last week against Kentucky was destroying baseballs, won the SEC Freshman of the Week, and then this week he's just like, I'm just going to give the bat a little rest right now, and I'm just going to flash this glove all weekend because, my God, any ball that was hit to him is an out. It's an out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, he is making plays right now that, there's a certain dude that plays for the Houston Astros right now that was making these types of plays at shortstop. So that's scary. As a freshman, that's scary. That bat starts to come around. You got 3 freshmen right now carrying your team. And that's scary for the future of the SEC because I think them 3 are going to be all SEC caliber players. Obviously, 2 of them are now. Thompson's still got a ways to go with the bat. But once that comes around, So let's go. Moving into Friday, game gets rained out. LSU got to do something with the SEC. They got to, send them a check or something. Say, hey, man, we don't want to play 7-inning doubleheaders anymore. Getting tired of them. They're stupid. You have an extra day already because you played on Thursday. Move the game to Saturday and Sunday. Play 9 innings like a normal baseball game. Not saying that's why LSU lost, but it's just stupid. It's a dumb SEC rule. Never been a fan of it. I understand it sometimes on late Sunday afternoons, but really those games mean so much. You're basically how many? I want to know if they're like if any of y'all know the stat. Like, drop this in the comments. Like, let me know how many times somebody sweeps the double headers. I guarantee you it's closer to 65, 70% that the team that wins the first game is winning the second game as well. And that is exactly what happened to LSU. So, game goes by, LSU scratches 2 runs in the first couple innings, 2-0, most of the game. Labus is on it. Like, Labus is dealing. Ain't nobody's touching him. We get to the top of the 7th. They come up. Labus makes a bad pitch, gives up a single. Nothing hurt. All right, 0-2 or 1-2 count. Labus makes another decent pitch. Kid does a great job hitting the baseball right back up the middle. Single. First and second, nobody out. At this point, I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get Labus out. Let's see Edwards or Floyd. No. Pulmonary's like, man, we got to ride the hot hand. Like, Fondo pitched so good last couple of nights. So we're going to just throw him back in after he threw 20-something pitches the other night. Like, how does that make sense? Do you think these kids are like, you think this is like high school baseball? Like, what? Like, you think these college hitters are seeing a guy from the second time and they're just going to let him, like, dominate him like that? Like, Fondo's not a world beater when it comes to on the mound. Like, he's had his moments, but he's not Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker, where you can just throw him out there and he's just going to do what he does no matter what the other team does against him. So he comes in, first pitch, smack, right field. Burns Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz had a chance to catch it, bounced off his glove. It would have been a tough play. They scored 2 on that, so it's tied 2-2. He comes in, next pitch, boom, double down the left field line, and then we're sitting here and we've lost. That's pretty much how it goes. We've lost, just like that. 2 pitches, this man came in and we had lost after those 2 pitches, and it was almost laughable because it was like, why in the world is this kid pitching again? Like, let this man do his job. He came in on Thursday, did a great job, pat on the back, man. You did good. Let me see Garrett Edwards in that situation, all right? Because I know what Paul was thinking. He's like, man, we need a strikeout. It's like, no, we need outs. Like, these kids, the wind was blowing 15 miles an hour, and ain't nobody really hitting home runs out here. So it's like, man, give me outs. Like, I don't need guys painting corners, walking people, giving up bombs because they're falling behind in the count. It's like, come on, bro. What are you doing? And then the Sunday starter situation is just unreal to me. I just don't get it. You have a kid that goes out there every single midweek game while everybody was healthy. Every single midweek game goes out there, pitches 3-4 innings. Every Wednesday, Tuesday night goes out there, shoves it for 3 innings. My man can't even get on the hill on the weekends. Like, this man is your Sunday starter whether you like it or not. Blake Money is not the answer. Blake Money throws hard. Blake Money has no off-speed pitch. Blake Money can't finish a batter once he gets 2 strikes on him because he doesn't have any off-speed pitch. You can't finish him. These are college SEC caliber hitters. You're not getting them out with fastballs because you throw hard. It's not happening. It's not happening. So, with that being said, we have got to see Will Helmers pitch on a Sunday sooner than later. We put in Garrett Edwards yesterday on Sunday. Pitched great. What are we doing? Why is he not seeing more? Why is he not coming in on the first half of that doubleheader and closing the game like he was the first half of the season? The whole first half of the season, you didn't want Fontenot in those situations. You wanted Garrett Edwards. He has 1 good outing, and all of a sudden he's your closer now. But, I mean, you got to slowly work guys in it and keep building confidence because now Devin Fontenot's like, man, I just gave up. I just lost us another game. Like, that's a great confidence booster after he just pitched great. So you've got to mix it up. Like Floyd, the Tennessee, what was that? The Tennessee series, man, was lights out. He gave up the walk-off, but, man, he came in for like 4 innings and shut him down. Gave us a chance to win. And that's all you can ask for in these situations, especially on Sunday. Sundays is just a throw your hat up in the air, and whoever has the better pitcher that day is going to win. Because it's all about, like, not a lot of teams have a third starter, and that's what made Jaden Hill and AJ Labus being able to pitch on Sunday is such an X factor for LSU, and they just blew it. When they had those guys, when Jaden Hill was healthy, they blew it. They had series wins calling their name, and they just couldn't do it. I know they play a tough schedule, but damn it, we're LSU. We play in the SEC West. There's 4 teams in the top 10 right now. Yeah, you're going to play good competition. That comes with the ball game. Like, so don't give me that we played a tough schedule. I mean, every weekend's a tough schedule. This is the SEC. You're facing a top 5 round pick on the Friday night of every single series. You can't give me a roster in the SEC, maybe Auburn, maybe Alabama, maybe Kentucky, that doesn't have a top 5 round pitcher. It's just not happening. So, and you're playing these games on the road, and I mean, they're tough games, but you know what? That's what you got to do. You got to find a way to win them. The goal is 20-10. You play 30 games, you win 2 out of 3 of every single series, you're finishing 20-10. That's how it works. So that's the goal. You get 20-10, you're most likely winning the league. This year might be an exception because Arkansas and Vanderbilt are pretty damn good. Oh boy, the stress, man. The stress of baseball season. I'm getting tired of watching it, but they're going to figure it out. The bats are coming. I can see it. Gabe Belosso's getting hot. The bats are coming around. We'll see what they can do with this pitching staff. And if they can maneuver, we've got to see another starter on Sunday. I mean, this is a tough stretch coming up. They have Ole Miss and then Arkansas back to back. So you got to find a way to win one of those. Most likely, your best chance is going to be against Ole Miss. Because Arkansas is one of the hottest teams on the planet right now. You're not beating them 2 out of 3. You can kiss that dream goodbye. So you got to beat Ole Miss. And then in these situations like the Kentucky last week, if you have a Sunday starter, that's a sweep. It's a sweep. You win game 2 of the games yesterday, you never know what happens in game 3. You know, that South Carolina team's not feeling themselves. You know, they just lost 2 games. You know, you don't know. They're not coming out and scoring 9 runs. I know that in the first 4 innings. If they lose that first ball game. So, I mean, it just sets the tone for that 7th inning just set the tone for the rest of the weekend. And once they blew that, I was like, man, they're going to lose this series. And you seen it coming from a mile away. So, that's all. I don't want to talk about that anymore. LSU baseball is frustrating to watch right now. Bright spots for the freshmen. Like I said, Thompson's balling out right now at shortstop. Other than that, pitching staff's got to get better. Bullpen's got to get better. Got to find a third starter. You're not gonna win any games in this league. So the real question is, does LSU have a chance to make the postseason? I say right now they don't. They gotta get to 500 in the league, and that ain't happening. They're 4-11. Where are you pulling those games out of? Look down there. Go look at if you don't have their schedule, go look it up. You tell me where you're finding those games where they can get to 500, because I couldn't. If they would have won this series, you could have made an argument like, hey, they're playing good right now. They could win some of these tough series, but right now, they got a very favorable schedule to end the year, and I still can't see them. They have Auburn, Alabama, A&M, the 3 worst teams other than LSU, 3 worst teams in the SEC West. Got a chance to beat them all. You're better than them. I'm going to look y'all dead straight in the eye. We are better than all 3 of those teams. Whether they win the series or not, it's to be determined. We'll see. Man, thank you guys for watching. It's been a fun episode. I had a great time talking with you guys, and hopefully you'll catch us back sometime in the next coming weeks. We'll be posting another video, getting the recruiting season started, man. June 1st is the day. Counting down all the days to June 1st. So if you haven't already, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you don't already, for live updates and stuff, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at LSU_HQ. So that's my message to y'all. Make sure y'all get that done, and we'll see y'all next time.